Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. 0% rating. Is it good? Is it bad? What does it look like? And what could it mean for you? Let's jump into it. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. 0% ratings on their face are horrible. However, it's because it's 0%, so zero feels like nothing. However, 0%, although it's a non-compensable disability compensation rating, it does come with some benefits. Now, there's different avenues in which you can look at this. The first and foremost that I feel compelled to point out is a 0% rating means that the VA has conceded to it being service-connected. There is no more fight from you needed in order to prove to the VA that your condition is in fact service-connected. And I would venture to say that the majority of issues that veterans have in getting their service-connected disabilities rated is that piece. The piece of the puzzle which is called Nexus. The link of the condition to your time in service, thus allowing the VA to rule it as a service-connected disability. So 0% essentially says, hey, the VA goes, look, we get it. You have that condition and it's due to your time in service or manifested during your time in service in somehow, some way. So that hurdle is now crossed. So that's a huge win. Okay, there's no money tied to the 0%. However, there are other benefits that come into play. So let's just use, for an example, a veteran that they only filed for one condition. That's all they filed for. They have one service-connected condition and it's 0%. So directly from the VA's website, it states here, if you receive a 0% disability rating for a service-connected condition, we call this a non-compensable disability. It means you can't get disability compensation payments for this condition, but you may be eligible for other VA benefits. And then it goes on to say, find out what you may qualify for with a 0% disability rating and if you can file for an increased disability rating. And that brings me to the next piece here. Having that disability rating put into place, it doesn't mean that the VA got it right. Oftentimes, I see veterans shortchange themselves in describing their condition. Now, this could be, maybe you didn't describe the pain you were feeling or the numbness and tingling that you were feeling with regard to your back issue. Maybe you just pushed through and tried to touch your toes. Who knows? Or it could be you did not explain your migraines appropriately, or you didn't explain the signs and symptoms of GERD thoroughly. In contrast, right, to what the schedule of ratings is actually looking for to assign the appropriate rating. That's why I always harp on read the schedule of ratings for your specific condition. This piece of documentation, the schedule of ratings, is a gold mine when it comes to getting the correct rating. So take the time to do so. So having a 0% rating puts you into a position to go back for an increase. Now let's move on. It says here, what VA benefits am I eligible for if I have a 0 disability rating? You may be eligible for these VA benefits, and it looks like 5 bullet points here. Number 1, VA healthcare. Okay, that's huge. This includes regular checkups, appointments with specialists, and prescription refill and tracking. Goes on to say travel reimbursement for those medical appointments that you have. The beneficiary travel program pays you back for mileage and other travel expenses to and from approved healthcare appointments. The next one is it could be, it just depends. So VA dental care. If you qualify for VA dental care benefits, you may be able to get some or all of your dental care through VA. If your 0% is a dental condition, that opens up the dental kind of pathway of care. Moving on, VA vision care. If you qualify for VA healthcare benefits, you may be able to get some or all of your vision care through VA. Again, kind of the same thing applies. Next one, Veterans Affairs Life Insurance, VA Life. VA Life provides low-cost coverage to eligible veterans with service-connected disabilities. Now, here's the thing. Back to the idea of filing for an increase. Again, the VA doesn't always get it right. They're working with whatever information they have from what you submitted as evidence, as well as what they received from your C&P exam, to help them then take all of that information and essentially cross-reference it with the schedule of ratings to assign a rating. Now, if you feel, but you don't know unless you read the schedule of ratings, if you feel as though you meet the 30% criteria because you read it, and they assigned you a 0%, chances are that 30% criteria was not articulated in the evidence you supplied, as well as the evidence from the C&P examiner, who essentially fills out a DBQ for you. So you can absolutely file for an increase. And if you're looking to file for that increase on that 0% within 1 year, you're basically looking for a review at this point, to have them correct it and preserve your effective date. This is huge. So if it's been less than a year since you've been assigned a 0% and you want to essentially dispute it, you would file a supplemental claim with additional evidence backing up your conditions, signs, and symptoms. Read the schedule of ratings, the criteria for that in this example, a 30% rating. Read that and make sure that you have that conversation with your primary doctor, get that information put into your medical records, then get those medical records and submit that with your supplemental claim, asking for that increase on that condition. Now, if it's been over a year, you would still use the supplemental claim form. It's just that you are not preserving the original effective date. Your effective date will be the date that you file that supplemental claim or the date of a new intent to file. So if it's been 5 years since you've had that 0% and you're thinking, okay, well, it's gotten worse, or I need to go in for an increase, first thing you should do is file an intent to file. That'll preserve a new effective date for you for any changes. Then get all your documentation together. It takes you a couple months, fine. Then you file your claim, but now at least you got that 2 months of additional back pay. If it takes you 10 months, it takes you 10 months, and then that gets you 10 more months of that you didn't lose out on back pay. So on the VA's website here, it states, can I file for an increased disability rating? And again, this is specific to the 0% rating directly from the VA's website. It says, yes, you can file for an increased disability rating if either of these is true. You think your disability is more severe than the 0% rating you received, or your disability has become worse over time. So either way, right? So, and I kind of gave both those examples. You got assigned to 0%. Within that year time frame, you're thinking, I should be rated at 30%. This is wrong. You would double down on getting the additional information you need and file that supplemental claim, preserving the original effective date. So you're essentially saying that the VA got it wrong. Let me provide you more information. Or, VA got it right, but 5 years later, I am now in a worse position and I need to file for this increase. So that is a fantastic aspect. Another aspect of the 0% is you have the potential to file for secondary conditions resulting from that 0% service-connected condition. So whatever your 0% is, personally, I would Google search conditions caused by X, my 0% rating, or secondary conditions caused by X, whatever my 0% rating is. So I can be a little more in tune with what could potentially happen because of that condition. 1, try to avoid them. 2, number 3, if they do appear, then I know that they are secondary condition to that service-connected condition and file a claim for those secondary conditions. All right, so moving on. The next piece here is, what if I have 2 or more non-compensable disabilities? So 2 or more 0%. Again, let's just pretend for a second that you're a veteran with 2 service-connected conditions. They're both rated at 0 and you have no other conditions. So one is keep your eye open for, should I file for an increase? 2, look at secondary conditions that you could potentially file. But in the meantime, let's read what the VA says. What if I have 2 or more non-compensable disabilities? We, the VA, may increase your disability rating to 10%. Okay, so they may give you a 10% although you have 2 or more non-compensable disabilities that make it difficult for you to work. If you receive a second non-compensable disability rating and you meet the requirement listed here, we will automatically increase your rating to 10%. You do not need to file for an increase. So what they're saying is you have 1 0% and then you get another 0%, or you file 2 and they approve both the 2 at 0%. They will bump you to a 10% and pay you out at 10% rating, even though you have 2 0%. Or 3 0%, whatever it is. So there's 3 bullet points here. Let's read through these. You have 2 or more permanent non-compensable disabilities that are service-connected. And so you have to meet all of these bullet points. So that's 1. You have to have 2 or more permanent non-compensable disabilities. 2, you don't have other VA disability ratings over 0%. So in other words, you're a veteran who only has a few 0% disability ratings, 2 or more, all at 0. And you have no other disability ratings over 0%, and you're receiving disability compensation, or that you're receiving disability compensation for. So you have to be a true 0. The last one is, work is difficult for you because of your service-connected disabilities. So my only question on this is, it states you do not need to file for an increase and they will automatically increase your rating to 10%. Well, that third bullet point, work is difficult for you because of your service-connected disabilities, how do they know? If you're not filing any sort of a form that says work is difficult for me because of my service-connected disabilities. My guess is that it's an assumption, or we'll call it a presumptive situation for the VA, and they just presume that your work is difficult because of that. And so it's just kind of a give me. My suggestion would be that if you have multiple 0% and no sort of monetary compensation coming in, I would probably call the VA and say, hey, I just wanted to, notate that work is difficult because of my service-connected disabilities, and I just wanted to find out what's going on, because I'm under the impression that from your website that if I have multiple 0% ratings, I should be paid out at a 10%. And hopefully that just jogs their system to be able to go, oh, okay, yeah, and they flip the switch. Or you could go to a accredited veteran representative or veteran service officer and have them contact the VA on your behalf to check in on that. So with that, thanks for watching. Wanted to just share with you again the power of 0%, and that it's actually really a good rating to work from. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.